Welcome to the OC Bitches.
Welcome to the OC Bitches.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Rachel.
How
are you, honey?
Well, I had my first vaccination shot yesterday, so I have no left arm.
Oh my gosh.
Really? I could not wash my hair this morning because I could not lift my left arm, and one-handed just did not seem like the best idea. I thought about asking for help, but a little awkward. You know, you'd have to be a little close to someone to wash it for you. My daughter's in school, so.
It's so fascinating. I got my first one. I have my second one next week. I had a little bit of soreness, but nothing much. But my daughter CG got it yesterday too for the first time.
Did she?
Yeah.
Which one did she get?
She got Pfizer, the first one, at Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, but she definitely was taking a nap in the afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't feel it. Like, I felt fine. It's just my arm is so sore.
Well, it's so petite and delicate.
So that's been my morning. So today's fun because it's just you and I.
It is. We're on episode 4, the debut. And we thought, it's time for us to kind of catch up. And we've been talking about the show so much that you and I really haven't had much time to catch up and kind of tell everyone how this whole thing came about and what we were, what our lives were like after the OC. So I thought it would be fun if we kind of interview each other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny to think like we're going to catch up. It's been how many years did the show go off the air? 16, 14, whatever.
Since
it's been a long time.
2007.
2007, yeah. So it's been a minute. And we've run into each other a couple times, and it's always like no time has passed whenever I see you, which is so nice. And which is also why I was super excited that you were willing to do this with me, this whole podcast adventure.
So I have the email from Rachel, and I thought it was really cute because the subject line was, Mindy, it's Bilson. How are you? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I wanted to run something by you. Would you have any interest in co-hosting an OC rewatch podcast with me? I got approached to possibly do one, and I immediately thought you'd be such an awesome co-host. I know this is random and out of the blue, haha, but wanted to reach out to you first thing. Hope you're doing well and safe and sane. Let me know what you think. Here's my cell. I thought it was so cute, and I have to tell you, I didn't know if it was you or not.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I think I reached out to Cindy, who was our makeup artist on the OC that we're both friends with, and I asked for your information, and that's how I got it, because I don't know how I didn't have it anymore. And yeah, I guess I was just to the point. I was like, hey, so you want to do this thing? Like, it's been like 5 years since I last saw you, but hi.
Hi. Well, and then I've had the same phone number since 97. So
nice.
Yeah, I know, right? So I thought, of course I've got your number in here, and I'm sure, but it definitely had changed.
Well, you know what's so funny, and this is, probably boring, but I had 2 phones. I had like my bat phone, and I had another phone. Anyway, I was given, this free phone while we were doing the OC. It was a Sidekick. Do you remember Sidekicks?
Yes.
They like flipped on their side.
Sideways. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. So I had 2 numbers. I had my original number and I had that. But finally they took the phone away. They're like, we're not going to pay for your phone anymore. And I'm like, that probably makes a lot of sense after 15 years. That's totally understandable. So I got rid of that one number that I used mainly, and I still had my old one. And that's what I have now to this day.
We should explain something called swag. I think a lot of people, I always thought the acronym meant shit which are given. So when you're on a show, especially like on the OC, you're constantly being gifted things, and it could be purses or wallets or phones. There was even a lease on a Lexus that was offered to us, and Tate was the only one. If you remembered, he did it. He leased. It was like, you can have this convertible thing for 6 months, and he took it and used it. And I was like, I never did those things.
Yeah, we got offered some random stuff. I remember while on the OC, I was given an Escalade, a Cadillac Escalade for the weekend. And that car is enormous, first of all. And I was driving, I believe I was like with Brody. Maybe I was with Josh. I don't know. There was definitely people from the OC in it with me. And we got pulled over because the police thought it was a stolen car. And I was like, no, it's not stolen. Like, this is like a really weird, random thing. I feel super embarrassed to say that like we're like working on this show and they offered it to. It was so awkward, but the cop was nice.
Well, they probably thought it was being driven by an invisible person because you're so petite. You could see your head.
Yeah, that was the real reason. They're like, how is this thing moving? Yes, but that was another funny perk back in the day. Really random stuff came our way, but it was nice. It was a nice thing, you know?
Well, do you remember, first, I remember the end of the OC being really vivid for me because my father had a stroke, like literally the first of the last week of the shooting. It was a Monday, and he was fine and all that. But I remember we were shooting, and then I went down, and then we finished the show, and so I was spending a lot of time with family, which was great. But I was on fire. I was like, the show's done, and I need a show tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about it, you know. And it was pilot season, and I just remember doing that same kind of thing, that same story of, I'd get a call that morning and say, can you be here for an audition in 45 minutes? And they expect you to do well, wow. You know. So I was testing for pilots, and I was so determined. I ended up doing one with Anthony Zegger, who created CSI, and it was with LL Cool J. And I did the pilot called The Man, but it didn't get picked up.
How was LL Cool J? Was he cool?
He was cool. Yes, he was very
LL
cool.
Cool J was a cool J.
Yeah, he was. But
that's awesome.
But then I was really like, okay, kind of like, I was just still in that real, you know, completely motivated. I need to get another show. And then I actually went to Toronto and did a movie that Kelly Rowan produced, and it was a Lifetime movie. And after that, the writer's strike was happening. I don't know if you remember that. And it kind of slowed down for a little bit, but I ended up doing some really cool things for vacation. Like I went on my first river rafting trip and going, whoa, I've been in the world of Hollywood thinking that was real life, but this is real life.
I have always wanted to do that. Like my dream is to go on a real river rafting trip. It's kind of what I was pitching for my 40th birthday, which is coming up, rapidly approaching. But I just think I love whitewater rafting.
So I have a good in for you. I've actually been talking about the best first trip was the best first trip I did for you. It's the Rogue River in Southern Oregon, and it's wild and scenic, and it's I have quite a few friends who are professionals, and when we get closer to your 40th, I have a lot of info for you.
Okay.
I even did the Grand Canyon shortly after that for 14 days.
I really want to do that one. That's like a long waiting list, I feel like, but that would be so cool. I also want my daughter to do it, so I feel like it needs to be kid friendly because she's so down for it. She's like, Mom, I'm definitely going whitewater rafting. I did when I was like 6 or 7 with my parents. So.
CG was with us the first time. She was 7. We had a group of like 30 people, and it was all 7-year-olds. But yeah, that was me trying to, you know, wow, red carpets and InStyle magazine is not my focus, and it's really not what's important right now. It's really important to get reconnected, because the OC was really, really kind of overwhelming, and probably even more so for you guys as the kids. You know, you guys had so much attention.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the end of the OC was interesting for me personally, and I guess professionally, because I was working on another film while doing the OC at the end. And then it was a bigger movie, so there was a lot that came with it after. I traveled the world to promote it. So it was kind of like I didn't have time to sort of sit back and reflect the show ending. I was kind of, you know, thrown into this other thing and then another relationship and all of these other things were going on. But, you know, it's almost like now I'm really reflecting on it all as an elderly lady, like looking back, and it was just a cool time. And I'm kind of grateful that I was thrown into something else, so I didn't have time to feel like super bummed, because I think it would have been really hard to come to terms with.
Were you all over you were traveling all over the world?
Yeah, you know, we did like a press junket in Egypt. It was a movie called Jumper with Doug Liman, who directed our pilot, and our press junket was at the pyramids in Egypt, which was super cool. We went to Tokyo for a premiere. We did a press junket at the Colosseum in Rome. It was like one of those fairy tale situations. So yeah, it was like I didn't have time to think about anything else. But it was really such a great experience. And because of the OC, I got to do that movie as well because Doug knew me from the show. So
a big studio movie with a big budget.
It was it was a bigger movie. And we had a lot of fun, and it took a long time to shoot. We were in Mexico, in a tank. I mean, there was underwater for an underwater scene, which was the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. Like I have a weird thing with water, but
absolutely.
You film underwater, you have to hold your breath, and
yet you want to go river rafting.
Yeah, well, I don't plan to be submerged, hopefully, for most of it.
You've got to be prepared to swim.
I know.
So growing up, cereal was one of the best parts about being a kid, right? But my parents didn't ever buy my favorites because, it was full of sugar and junk, right?
Yes. But now, with Magic Spoon, we can revisit our childhood eating fruity and chocolate-filled cereals, and we don't have to feel guilty about it.
Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free.
You've got to try their variety pack. It includes cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. My favorite is the fruity because it just reminds me of what I ate as a kid. And I love that it's good for you. And I also love that I can give it to my daughter and she still thinks it's a treat.
Absolutely. I actually love cinnamon. And then this morning, I mixed them. And it was delicious. I mixed peanut butter and fruit. I know it sounds, but trust me, it's great. And then I put toasted pecans in it. And the other thing that I've noticed, cereal doesn't always satiate me, or I don't remember it doing that, but this does. I feel full until, dinner time sometimes.
Wow, that's great.
Go to magicspoon.com/theOC to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code TheOC at checkout to save $5 off your order.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/theOC and use the code TheOC to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
Orate is a fine jewelry brand founded by women for women. Pieces range from classic to statement to completely original. There are so many options.
Orate makes the jewelry you've always wanted but could never find. I just love the classic pieces because the jewelry I wear, I like to put on and not have to take off. And there are so many beautiful options that you can wear every day with anything.
Yes, my 14 karat gold ring arrived. It's really beautiful and it's classy and it's stackable. It's also, I love this website. It is so great for gifts. My mom and daughter will be happy on their birthdays for sure. Orate is ethically sourced and sustainably made. Their gold is never mined, and their gemstones and diamonds are also certified conflict-free, so everyone can shop with a sparkling conscience.
They really are a company that does good. Orate gives back and supports various causes ranging from the environment to social causes empowering women, youth, and children.
Orate is looking to set the standard for women because they deserve the best, always reminding them to set the gold bar high.
For 15% off your first Orate purchase, go to oratenewyork.com/OC and use promo code OC. That's AURATE NewYork.com.
Trust us, you'll want to buy everything. For 15% off your first Orate purchase, go to oratenewyork.com/OC and use promo code OC.
But Mindy, I want to say, so I was I was looking you up yesterday or the day before on IMDb, and I didn't realize that other iconic things that you have done, like Seinfeld. You did an episode of Seinfeld.
I did.
Which
the muffin tops.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the episode yesterday.
Did you really?
And you're so beautiful and so awesome.
Wait, but that haircut, it was like the Jen haircut with the bangs
very
like up
90s.
Here.
You had the Rachel, but with bangs,
right?
Which was awesome. But how was it working? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh,
because it's such an iconic thing.
He and I ended up having a major flirtation. Yeah. He used to call me.
Really?
We used to just chat on the phone quite a bit.
Jerry Seinfeld used to call you? Yeah. Were you already married at the time?
I was getting married. Yeah.
Oh,
but
well, you still got married, so. We know how that went. What
He just made me laugh. I mean, and I remember being on the bus. It was the Peterman reality tour, which was based on, the real Kramer. Actually, during that time in '97, the real Kramer was doing a Seinfeld reality tour in New York. And that's another like a version of like meta humor where Seinfeld was bringing in that, the reality onto his show. And we did that bus scene it feels like we did that bus scene for about 4 hours. And
wow, that's a lot for a sitcom.
Yeah, and not in front of an audience for that particular scene. But Michael Richards, he's so fast, he's so funny, but he approaches, from my point of view, he approaches it just totally serious. He's not playing for laughs. And Jerry could not stop laughing, and none of us could stop laughing. But no, that was a fun little thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I have to ask you, because Larry David is the love of my life. He is my celebrity crush. It's always my answer. Did you get to meet him?
He was there actually doing the George Steinbrenner like chicken wings, or he was supposed to be the head of Tyson, and he was there. And I don't remember meeting him. I remember seeing him, but I know you have a major crush on him.
Oh yeah, I saw him once at a play, and he was out in the lobby, and I've never been more starstruck in my life. I started sweating profusely and had to run the opposite direction. I was like, I cannot meet my dream man. I'm not ready for this.
What is it about him? That self-deprecating, that like neurosis, that insecurity, his delivery.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
He is my dream man.
Okay, Rach, I didn't know that about you. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, okay, so was if I may ask, was Adam kind of that same Jewish humor?
It's the same wheelhouse, right? Especially watching these episodes, and he's like, I'm 80 inside, There's like definitely the curmudgeon-y, self-deprecating. There's a theme for sure.
Right.
I haven't always stuck to the theme. I've definitely strayed, but if you look at some of my track record, there is some sort of flow.
I noticed that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
When I looked you up, isn't this funny that we, you would think that we don't look each other up, peeps, but no. But I feel you have this very strong entrepreneurial passion for lifestyle and fashion, and you did a shoe line. And was this all with Nicole Chavez, or like tell us about that a little bit?
Nicole Chavez was our on-set costumer on the OC. We became friends the first year of the show, and she's now a stylist. And there was this company that we did a shoe line with, and it was so much fun. We got to design the shoes. We really went in and did the whole thing, and it was like a subscription thing, and it was a really good price point. And we did that for maybe a year or two. I still have some
Shoe Mint?
shoes, actually.
That's what it's
Shoe Mint, yes.
Shoe Mint.
But we had so much fun. Yeah, I had another partnership, and I did another clothing thing at one point. It's definitely a passion of mine. I love it. But I have to be kind of approached with it because I don't have the self-motivation to be like, I'm going to start something. It's more like, okay, here's something. And then I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Rachel's
I don't know if that's lazy or what, but it's just not, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm not like the business go-getter, but I'll do the creative part.
Right.
Yeah.
Rachel's Goop. You could be your own Goop version, which is, I feel like a lot of people, I just feel like a lot of actors, like the Gwyneth Paltrows, or people are finding other things than just being actors. And and I think
even this podcast,
what we're
is
doing
amazing.
right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. What we're doing right now is super cool, and I'm thrilled to be in my sweats in my cloffice. I'm calling it. It's my closet office, working.
There's something really relaxing about and peaceful about not having to, as I say, figure out the traffic in the morning getting to work.
You and your traffic. The Californians is your go-to.
Well, I had a few things, that popped up when we were talking about, I know some memories from the OC that just really were kind of popping up in my head. Let's talk dogs on set. Do you remember?
That's so funny. I thought the same thing. So we had a very dog-friendly set.
Misha got her first dog, Charlie.
Charlie.
Right?
Charlie.
A
yes.
Cavalier King Charles, if I remember.
Mix. Yeah, he was a mutt, but yes, a mix. And so my first dog, which is kind of funny, it was my birthday, and Adam Brody got me a dog. So he went to the pound, he went to a shelter, and he picked out a dog, and he named it, and he brought her to me on my birthday. She was a
Penny.
either mix or a pit bull. Yep, Penny. He's like, here's your present. I got you a pit bull, and her name is Penny. And I was like, okay, thank you. And you know what? And I said, okay, well, I'm going to call her Penny Lane so I could at least like insert myself somewhere in my dog. So she was Penny Lane. And you know what? She was the sweetest, loving baby girl. She was awesome. But because of that he picked out the first one, later on, maybe a year later or something, I adopted Thurman Merman. Mm-hmm. And he was a little fluffy mutt because I was like, I want a small dog.
He's so cute.
And he was the cutest, but he was the biggest asshole of all time.
You said that.
He was such an asshole dog. And we had to put him down this past December. He was 15 and it was heartbreaking. Even though he was like such a jerk and would bite me and Briar couldn't pet him or anything. He was a very neurotic dog. Like he was crazy, but I still loved him. And yeah, he just got put down recently. But anyway, yes, our dogs were always with us on set. And Ian Toynton, who was one of our directors, loved Thurman and tried to adopt one of his litter mates. But I feel like it was someone in our editing group, someone they knew got Thurman's brother or sister. And I always wanted to find out what happened.
Well, do you remember CG was 3, my daughter, Catherine Grace, and we got Molly May, the pug.
The pug. I remember
with
your
the
pug.
big rolls, and the smushed up face. And I remember at some point you guys saying, because you guys brought your dogs with you every day. Misha brought Charlie, and you guys brought Penny.
And Misha also added
and I was
Ziggy.
Like, okay, I'll bring the pup. I found it so distracting. And if you remember, so Penny's a big pit bull, and you imagine little Molly May, this pug with a super smushed face. They were playing in somebody's dressing room. I think it was yours, Rachel. And Molly took Penny's bone, and Penny tried to take it away. And Molly all of a sudden became the pit bull. Like, and it was scary. I'm like, ooh, they don't call him, bitches for nothing. A female dog is a bitch.
Well, did you have issues with her? Because I'm finding smaller dogs are way more sassy and
it was
difficult.
Well, then we got another one called Flash, and they were both the top dogs. So he's the boy, and he was lifting his leg. So Molly all of a sudden started lifting her leg as a female. But yeah, well, it was when I went to Canada for Nikita. Unfortunately, I had to adopt them out to a family to keep them together because I just couldn't do it back and forth. And CG was really bummed, but we now have Lucy, so it's okay.
Yeah,
but I do remember one day having Charlie, Penny, and Molly in the makeup trailer in the morning, and it just being totally chaotic. And finally, I think Ben was like, guys, can we just have a little peace and quiet in the morning? And it's like totally understandable.
We had our own best
because they
show.
Fight and they bark, and the morning should always be a little bit kind of it should be a gentle experience in the morning because we have these big days ahead of us, right?
Yeah, but we were fortunate to be able to bring them to a certain extent.
Yeah, and then Josh and Stephanie. No, what they got some. Which one got
Stephanie? Josh got and Jill, who was one of my best friends. They got Maya, a chocolate lab, and she would come to set. She was so sweet.
It came from the top. Once Josh and or producers, directors had dogs, that we became a dog friendly set, and they had to now implement some rules. We're going to allow this, but that reminds me of some other rules. I remember in the beginning of the OC, anybody could come visit, my friend, my mother, whoever. And we were constantly getting guests or friends of people. And I remember at some point they said, it by the end of it, which was very exciting, but sometimes you turn around and there would be 16-year-olds going, oh my gosh. And I think that was kind of overwhelming for the boys specifically. But then by the end of the show, to come on set, it had to be a very, because it can be kind of distracting if there's a lot of people looking around, I guess. I don't know. But then if you were going to be a guest, you had to come at a certain time. You had your own headphones, your own monitors to watch, because it became kind of like kind of a free for all. There were things that once the show got really popular, I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't remember anything. I do remember though, episode 4 that we're going over because I just watched it. So that's a plus that we get to go over today, which is super exciting. The debut, which is, I'd like to just put this out there, our very own version of Bridgerton, presenting the ladies. They present all the young eligible ladies. And like on our show in this episode, it's the young debutantes are presented as the young eligible ladies.
Cotillion, I mean, I had to look it up. I mean, I understand. I mean, anybody can take cotillion classes, I guess, but it's about etiquette and social graces. And they don't just tell them how to do it. They actually have a series of balls or parties, and the culmination could be debuting into society, so to speak. But anybody apparently can do it. But yeah, the synopsis of this show: Ryan is officially a Cohen, and that means he too must attend one of Newport's biggest social events, Cotillion. As Ryan and Marissa become friends, Luke's jealousy is apparent. Anna, new to Newport, shows Seth some confidence. Jimmy's financial troubles come to a head when he lets one of his clients know he doesn't have his money. Mm-hmm. I spoke with Norman Buckley yesterday, who edited this episode. He was possibly going to join us, but he's working on Magnolias. But I wanted to, when we get to the scene, but I asked him if he knew much about or if he remembered. Of course he knows much, but if he remembered that he remembers Stephanie Savage, the producer on the show. She wanted this episode to feel like a Douglas Sirk movie, and I had to look this up, and he was well known for Hollywood melodramas of the 50s. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to look him up too.
I just thought that this episode had really a very huge demonstration of just how different Ryan's life used to be, from poverty and domestic abuse to this very superficial, in some ways, high-class society. And but it has the making for the luxurious suds. There was one more thing that was established. There's 3 love triangles. You've got Luke, Marissa, Ryan, Jimmy, Sandy, Kirsten. And then you have Anna, Seth, and Summer.
Right. Yeah. When we meet Samira Armstrong in this episode, Anna, who played Anna. Mm-hmm. Right? She comes in hot.
From Pittsburgh. She's refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I actually thought she was awesome. Very natural. But this episode's so sweet because it starts off with Ryan learning that he's basically being adopted by Sandy and Kirsten, and it's so sweet. They're going to take him in.
He's officially part of the family. It feels like stay out of trouble, and he's going to stay out of trouble. But now that he's gotten over, burning down a house, stealing a car, getting into all these fights, he's going to stay out of trouble. But now he's going to realize that this beautiful world of Newport Beach, everyone has a secret, everyone has problems, and it's kind of the beginning of the end of this very, very sad story of Marissa.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, that just made me sad.
She begins her journey to despair. But Ryan is the white knight. I think that's the theme here.
Yeah, and it's also said here. They call the boys the white knights for the debutante dates. But Ryan learns he's going to have to go to Cotillion, joining this family. So he is literally thrown right into it. I just think, there's the scene and they show up for their fitting Kirsten takes, what are their names? Seth and Ryan. They take Seth and Ryan to the fitting, and the guy's like, there's, Versace and Armani, and, it's just, Ryan's like, what is happening? And of course, Marissa is there. There were so many, I'm sorry, I jump around all the time. Just bear with me. But there's so many moments in this episode with Ryan and Marissa where you're just like, oh, you just feel it. Mm-hmm. The subtlety of buttoning up her dress, which we can get to, dancing on the dance floor or trying to learn the waltz, which, by the way, I wanted to ask you, growing up in Orange County, cotillion, anything, did you have to learn the waltz? Like, did you ever experience any of these things?
Well, my mother was a ballet dancer with a dance studio. So I was dancing from when I was young. But I feel like this is something that was more, our parents' generation, that every young man learned how to dance. And which is, something that I think every young man should learn to do. But
I missed that.
Yeah. I feel do you know if Ben or Adam danced? Or was that awkward for them? We should.
Well, Brody definitely has a cool move when they're going onto the dance floor to learn. He's like, does like this wave hand motion thing, and that's all him. So clearly, and he was a drummer in his own band, so he's got the beat. So maybe he has a secret dance life that nobody knows about that maybe will come to light. But yeah, I feel like dancing, I do miss that. Like, miss that. What am I talking about? I wasn't alive for that. When it was like
my father and I used to dance too whenever there was, a band or something live. He'd get up and he knew how to lead, and it was always, such a sweet mother-daughter. Father. Yeah. I just said mother.
Mother-father. My pop-pop, my grandfather would like pretend. Actually, so when I was a kid, Dirty Dancing was my favorite movie of all time, and I would make my brother practice the lift with me.
Really?
It always ended badly. I think
like a face plant.
Yeah, for sure. But like he would purposely like spin me in and then twirl me out and like throw me as hard as he could. So I would eat shit. But I made him watch Dirty Dancing. He made me watch The Untouchables. So I was very
I love both
film educated 7 or 9-year-old or whatever it was.
Wait, can I just go back to this to me is just a fantastic piece of dialogue from our own Kelly Rowan, Kirsten, in the pool house when Kirsten's like, okay, so we'll have to do this. Now that it's official, we're going to get you, and, oh, wait, you don't have anything. Well, we're going to have to get you underpants. Like, that is a bad word. And Seth goes, Mom, don't say underpants. That is just hysterical to me. Like,
underpants.
It's like, what's the worst thing?
She may as well have said panties.
We're going to get you some panties. And
I know, it was, I noted that as well.
No, but this was also a very few people, let alone young people, own a tux. So I wrote, a lot of young people don't have a tux, but clearly they had them on, I guess, loan there at the
they had plenty of designer duds. And and Summer walks out, and her comment on her gloves are going to give her sausage arms. And oh my God.
I do wonder if Summer. Josh Schwartz did cotillion. I looked it up. I guess
I tried to ask him last night. He was preoccupied.
Yeah, that's okay.
Didn't get the answers, but.
Okay, so here's something that I wanted to point out when Ryan is picking out the tux, and then Summer says, hey, every girl needs a white knight. There was almost a chemistry read going on between you and Ryan. Could you imagine if they'd ever actually written for the two of you hooking up for an episode?
Josh has said now, he's like, why did I not ever try Summer and Ryan?
Right?
I know Summer was after Ryan.
Totally.
Big time.
Well,
also Summer was in a bra yet again.
I know.
Why am I always topless? Like bra, bikini top. Why do I not have clothing? My question.
But Marissa was like, she was blocking. She made sure that Ryan went with Anna. I was going to say Samira. Boy, all these names.
You mean Ryan?
Right. See?
Yeah. It's okay. A lot of names being thrown around. Yes. But so Ryan, she clearly blocks that. which is what you do when you're a teenager and you don't want to actually say what you're feeling. So she sets him up with Anna. And I actually love the exchange, you know, when they're learning the waltz and everyone's paired up and Summer's stuck with Seth, which she clearly is not happy about. By the way, I hate Summer. Hate her.
Right now.
Episode. That's my note on my notepad. It just says, I hate Summer. Because, I mean, she's so rude. But yeah, so the dance scene, Seth and Summer are kind of funny. But yeah, when Marissa is showing Ryan, that's one of the moments where he puts his hand on her lower back and you feel it. You feel the chemistry. Chemistry is everything. I feel it
more in this episode. Like they did a really, really good job. I wrote that to Norman. I said that just the dynamic between those two. And actually I said, Ryan looks like he's about to pop. He's so attracted to her and it just works.
His leather choker is about to burst.
I wrote that down too. I'm like, oh, there's that thing. In fact, I heard Ben McKenzie on an interview talking about it, saying, I don't know. This is the big mystery, like who chose it, why it was there. And he was still baffled by it too. But I also want to make a point, trying to make a point of the fashion. Brody's outfit, that seersucker with the jeans, it was so fashionable.
Chic.
I loved it. I thought it was cute.
Yes, it was cute.
But we should also make a point of saying that this is the beginning of the end for Jimmy. The SEC is on to him. So it's definitely a big part of the storyline in this episode.
Oh, yeah. We also see Shailene Woodley again in this episode. Shailene walks in and also drops that storyline bomb that someone keeps calling for Jimmy.
Right.
Jimmy is avoiding because Jimmy's in trouble.
She's sharp, that little one. That little Caitlin, that little mini Julie. In the Cohen kitchen, because Sandy, at this point, both Sandy and Kirsten think that the $100,000 is for a loan. And then, of course, the SEC tells them that it's not. So in the kitchen, Sandy asks the guys to leave. And, of course, Seth, once again, it's like, if it's about the vase. And earlier it was like, if it was about the rug. Nice little joke there. I'd like to know what that's all about. But I guess that's not the punchline. It's early in the afternoon. And Sandy's got some bad news. And it's here. Drink up, babe. We need wine for every bit of... bad info, or sorry, some bad news, right?
We had our own drinking game within the show, on the show. Anytime something happens.
Sandy wants to call the friends to warn them about Jimmy, but Kirsten asked him not to. But I wrote, pretty top on Kelly. She was always dressed so elegant, and she is in real life as well. Just a little shout out to our friend Kelly there. So at Marissa's house, Ryan is there, and she asks him to help with the dress. And it's like, how many times have we seen this in a film?
I know. It's a very palpable moment between them. I'm really feeling them in this episode.
Totally.
Really feeling them.
I feel like this is like one of those firsts that every boy has. Is it like a very intimate thing to be, zipping a girl's dress or helping her with that dress? And it's like that pheromonal, carnal desire that you're feeling.
Yeah, but you know what's coming. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She may be 16 or whatever Marissa's age was, but she knows what she's doing.
The music and the editing and helping the audience along this journey and, for lack of a better word, manipulating what you're supposed to be feeling in this. And it's done so well.
Yeah, that happens a lot, I feel.
There's a funny, quick little thing here with Jimmy when Kirsten's confronting Jimmy about the situation and Julie walks in. She stops by to ask him, a quick business question. And Julie's like, oh, quickie, huh? Just kidding.
Yeah.
And then
I wrote that down too. And also you're wearing your outfit that you wear in all of your promo photos.
Yeah, there's a lot of promo photos there.
Yeah. But yeah, you're like a quickie, huh?
This actually jogged a memory for me because Julie's talking about, she's going to go test drive the CLK and da-da-da. And I thought, oh my gosh, I remember test driving a CLK and all of a sudden I had these memories of one of the first things actors do when the show's successful is a lot of people get new cars.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
I did.
remember Ben got like a Nissan, or it was a sports car. And I remember your car was a Volvo.
Yep. SUV Volvo,
SUV.
because I am a granny at heart. And
And
Brody got like a Mercedes sedan.
Right. But we
Which
got,
he was
we
a
also
grandpa at
used
heart.
this, you and I used the same leasing company, LCS. And I remember Peter, of course, got one of the first Priuses we'd ever seen because.
Oh, wow.
But then at one point, just for a little bit, I decided if I'm driving in this traffic all the time, I'm going to have a cool car for a short lease. And I did get a CLK for a few months. And then after that, I got a Prius.
Yes, everyone. I feel like everyone got a Prius at some point, at one point or another.
Right.
But yes, my Volvo SUV, I was so excited. It had third row that you know what? I think I put it up once when all of us, the kids, or most of us, went to Halloween Horror Nights at Knott's Berry Farm, and I drove everybody. And there's pictures from it, I believe. I feel like Brittany Snow was there with us. Brody's there. I'm there. Maybe Samira's there. We'll have to find the pictures. They definitely exist.
I'm so excited to talk about Function of Beauty because it certainly has been helping me achieve my hair goals.
Oh, yeah? And what are those, Mindy?
Oh, let me just tell you, give you a list. It's moisture, shine, lengthen, volume, replenish, restore, and I like to maintain my color. And you know what? I just want my hair to just get better overall.
Friends don't let friends live with anything less than amazing hair. So as your friends, listeners, we want you to be happy and to try Function of Beauty.
Every ingredient Function of Beauty uses is vegan and cruelty-free, and they never use sulfates or parabens. You can also go completely silicone-free. Might have to try that one time.
You simply take a quiz to tell them about your hair type and your hair goals. Then you choose your color and fragrance. I chose peach in color and fragrance. I was feeling peachy. Function's team determines the perfect blend of ingredients, bottles your formula, and delivers it right to you.
Never buy off the shelf just to be disappointed ever again. Go to functionofbeauty.com/OC to take your quiz and save 20% on your first order. That applies to their full range of customized hair, skin, and body products. Go to functionofbeauty.com/OC to let them know we sent you and get 20% off your order. Care of. I am a true fan of Care of. I received their vitamins and I love the daily vitamin packs that make it easy to stay on top of taking them.
All of Care of products are formulated with good-for-you, clean ingredients that are backed by science.
I took their in-depth online quiz, which asked questions about my diet, lifestyle, my health concerns to help address my specific wellness goals.
The quiz is like getting a one-on-one consultation with a nutritionist without leaving your house.
I love that. And spring means spring cleaning, and Care of allows you to declutter your cabinet and replace a mess of bottles with a dispenser of convenient daily vitamin packs. I am so guilty of that.
I just loved how convenient this was to figure out which vitamins would be best for me. And this way I'm actually going to take them because it's so personalized that I feel like it's really going to benefit me.
I mean, I'm all about health and balance and getting the right nutrients so that I can thrive. I have customized vitamins and I take them every day, and I'm using also the plant protein and collagen. We need that as we're getting older, and something called a super berry. And it all mixes into a really delicious shake in the morning.
For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter the code, the OC50. That's 50% off at takecareof.com with the code, the OC50.
But this brings up something that, a memory, to kind of go off the episode for a second, because I feel like, just from my viewpoint, you had a group of friends and that kind of joined with Adam's group of friends. Did Josh have a group of friends? And then Misha, you all kind of had a group of friends. There was Brett.
We all kind of merged. So Brett Harrison, who was Brody's best friend
and roommate, yeah,
everything, definitely was incorporated. He and Josh are still best friends to this day. Josh was his best man in a wedding. But yeah, so that's how we all kind of merged and formed. And Brett married Lauren, who we're super close with now, who's best friends with Ashley Simpson and Jessica Simpson. It was like this crazy mishmash of people brought together because of the show. And a lot of those relationships are still strong today.
And every once in a while, because I was a mom at home and the young ones, you guys would invite me out and I'd be like, ooh, I'm part of the cool group.
You are the cool group, Mindy.
But I always felt like it felt like, it was just a really dynamic group of people that were having just a great time in their lives. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to note that, okay, so in the episode after the waltz practice, Holly's having her beach house party. She's like, we have it every year. And Seth's like, well, you didn't have it last year. She's like, yeah, we did. Like, oh, poor Seth. But what's funny about this, when you first go to the party and Summer's trying to bribe Holly to switch dates and Seth comes up and there's a line here, which was an improvised line that kind of became a thing where he says, you're a real barbecutionist. So barbecutionist, gosh, I hope I'm right about this. My memory, I'm always questioning it, but I'm pretty positive, and I will double check with Josh. Barbecutionist was Adam, and he said that, and it was so good. It stayed in, and it was used many times. But I'm pretty positive that was his improv. I thought Misha looked so pretty at this party in that dress. And
that's my favorite dress. I wrote that down. I was like, I want that dress right now.
I got confirmation from Josh Schwartz. Yes, Barbecutionist was a Brody improv. That's what I thought. I was pretty positive about it. Look at how quick that
came in. He responds to you quickly. I love that.
Yeah, not when I asked him many questions. He gets overloaded when he answered that. He wrote yes.
During that line of good barbecutionist, you're in another bathing suit.
I don't wear anything but bathing suits, basically, or bras. I told you I'm topless. There's no clothing covering the top part of my body.
Well, it is the summertime. So
and
you are on the stand.
Even when it's not.
But I wrote this. I love Marissa's dress. Like that's.
I know. I see that you wrote that here, and I had the same note. I don't know what it was. It was simple, striped, but it was just, I don't know, the colors, everything. Mm-hmm. This is so funny because I'm such my brain. I wrote Brody dimple. Brody has a dimple. Like I noticed his dimple in this scene, and I'm like, I'm sure it's something I would have known then. I would hope that I would have noticed, but just seeing it, I was like, I question mark. Brody has a dimple. Oh my God.
Well, everyone's getting ready to go to Cotillion and more.
Let me turn look at my written, like my scrabble.
Oh, I have it too, honey. I got scrabbles. But this brought up something that this episode, more than others that we've watched, it reminded me of the process that we go through to get ready for something like Cotillion. So Julie comes in with this hair up, and she's almost gone overboard just a tiny little bit, and it's not like elegant. Like Kelly looks like she's right out of Harper's Bazaar, and just so elegant, but Julie looks more like mother of Barbie, mother of the bride kind of thing, with just like
I noted the curls just on top of your head. Like it was quite the do.
Right. And when you do something like that, you establish a look, and then if you have subsequent days, you have to you have to copy your look, and it's a whole commitment. And I don't think people realize that, there's this whole thing about we got an hour and a half in the morning to get ready, and within that hour and a half, you need to be ready and ready to shoot or rehearse or whatnot. And some of these days took a lot longer, and it takes a village to do that. You've got hair, you've got pieces, you've got makeup, you've got tanning.
When you say pieces, you mean there's hair pieces that you actually put into your hair, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not, and I think that's why at home I just never wanted to wear hair and makeup because you do it for a living.
It's so much, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, how about Summer's do? There's just a flower in there. Why? I don't know, but it's there.
No, but sometimes there would be, and I remember during that time, I took up Tybo, and I would go to Tybo, and it was super, super.
So say what Tybo is.
Tybo is the Billy Blanks. It was very, very popular at the time, late 90s, early 2000s. And I would actually go to the place and take classes with him. But you're at such a high heart rate for for an hour. I didn't realize that I was getting headaches. I was kind of overdoing it. And I drive to set, take a shower, because we actually had some of those trailers, or our dressing rooms had some showers in them. And I had this whole process where I could get in the shower, go straight to the makeup trailer, get all dolled up for Julie Cooper. And it was just, in some ways, I'm like, God, this is so exhausting. I am way too lazy to ever have looked like Julie Cooper, because you have to get up at 5 a.m. to do it,
You know what? It's funny you mentioned the showers in our dressing room. I remember Misha one day showering at lunch when she wasn't done working and taking a shower. And I remember hair and makeup kind of going like, oh, we have to redo her. It was one of the, I remember that, and I was like, oh, and I still to this day, I'm like, I'm so careful, when you're all done, because it's a lot of work or whatever. And I think part of that was just like age and, maybe she worked out at lunch. I don't know. But I just remember noting that, like, wow, that's pretty ballsy.
It's not something, if it's really important as an actor, you have to communicate with the, the ADs, the assistant directors, and say, this is what I'm doing. This is how long it's going to take. There's this whole communication that goes on. And when you have a certain amount of time in the morning, it's built into the schedule. And if you ever go over, there's something called a production report, and it can say 5 minutes late for set because, and they can blame it on hair and makeup, and that happens all the time. So you have to be very conscious that you're not on that side. You want to work as a team. It's a luxury to have an hour and a half to get ready. I worked on an Aaron Spelling show, and I remember talking to some girls who worked on 90210. His rule was that you got 45 minutes start to finish, and it's up to you to make it work. And that we would never have been able to make that work on the OC, but he'd been doing it for so long. Also, he had a rule that you only were allowed one hairstyle. If you noticed on those Dynasty ladies, one hairstyle, so the audience always recognized you. So
really,
but it's also very, it's a great lesson, because I know we always like to change our hair. We like to change our look up. But if you're doing that and then you have multiple scenes with different looks, you're constantly going back and having to change. I got to the point when during Nikita, one hairstyle, never changed for an episode. It just makes life a lot easier. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that.
Right.
Like when you paint your nails, you're just like, oh no. Because if you go from like a different day, that day that you're shooting, you have to like redo your nails. And anyway, I like low maintenance. Let's just say that.
You learn the shortcuts and how to make your life easier, because you don't necessarily have to indulge just how you're feeling that day because you want to. It just creates a lot more work.
This episode was not low maintenance when it came to hair and makeup, as we've been discussing. Like Everyone was done up, but also some people weren't going to go to cotillion, like Marissa herself. That's a big deal. She's the head Deb, right? And Ryan doesn't go, and Sandy's out, and it's a whole thing. But so they're not going to go. So things get all shooken up, right? And Seth winds up with Anna. Why does Seth? Oh, because Summer's going to go with Luke because Marissa's not going.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And, then they show up. I actually love the Anna and Seth dynamic here because you're really seeing them be the clear choice that like they should be together. Like she's talking about graphic novels, which she calls graphic novels, and like his mind is blown.
She's like a female really Seth. She's really
yes.
And all of a sudden he's talking to a girl in a way he's never talked to, and right, he's never had a female friend like that, right?
No, she was definitely intended to be the female Seth, for sure. That's how she's written, and she did it so well. I thought she was so good. And like I said, I'm rooting for Anna because I hate Summer.
She's really refreshing.
Summer evolves.
Yeah,
Summer evolves. Everything is kind of mixed up, and Marissa and Ryan do decide to come to cotillion, and Julie is very, very unhappy that Ryan is now the white knight for Marissa. How did you feel about that?
Oh my gosh, Julie, it's so funny to watch this when Jimmy's not going, and she's like, what's going on with this family? Like her wig is on fire. this is because she's trying to control everything, and the night just gets worse and worse, and she's just doing everything through clenched teeth. And I could see, like, she definitely would. She's got that piece of coal that's turning into a diamond pretty quick on this night.
Yeah, for sure. But then wait, who does Summer wind up going out with? Or do we not see her presented? We don't see Summer. Does she not get presented?
Good news. I'm available again.
Yeah, Summer's like, good news. I'm available again. I think that's when I wrote, I hate Summer. Like, you asshole. Yeah, you are an asshole. Yeah, so I guess she doesn't get presented. Anyway, so this is our Bridgerton moment when all the ladies get presented. Jimmy, is there. It's actually really sweet, Marissa and Jimmy, right before Jimmy gets,
I found this moment to be because, like, we're looking at this show with a new set of eyes, paying attention to details that we hadn't paid attention to, like ourselves, right? Looking at the music, looking at the overall look of the scene. And I just had this overwhelming need to text our editor in that moment and say, what do you remember? I'm just watching this moment and everything looks right in the world on this show. They're dancing together. It's beautiful the way the ladies are being announced and with their fathers. And it was impactful and very sweet. And then everything goes to hell. And it's, but that's exactly what the makes for great melodrama here.
Yeah, for sure.
It was old Hollywood, an old Hollywood moment.
I feel so sad for Marissa, and she's crying outside, and both boys try to comfort her.
Yeah, that was definitely the feeling of, ooh, Ryan finally is solid in his living situation, his domestic situation with new parents and a new family, and yet he's fallen for this beautiful girl next door, and wow, does she have the weight of the world on her shoulders, and he just wants to protect her.
Also, Ryan's jacket literally on her shoulders, which he offers her, which is very sweet. Yeah. And, in Smashing Pumpkins, To Sheila is playing. And still to this day, that's one of my favorite songs, and it plays in this moment. And it couldn't be more perfect once again.
Yeah. I feel for Luke, too. He's very duplicitous, but Chris did a really good job of we see his feelings too. And I felt for him too. He and his puka shells.
It's a big feeling. There's big feelings in this episode.
Right.
I have big hate. Oh, one thing I want to say, there's the scene with Anna and Seth where she says confidence, Cohen. And that was a moment that I feel like transcends, and I still say that to Josh Schwartz to this day. Like when he's going through, I'll just text him, confidence, Cohen. It's just one of those staples that has stayed, and I use it with him, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought Samira was so refreshing and
so natural.
Brought such a fashion. She must have brought a lot of her personal fashion style to the character, and original too. I thought it was great just in the casting. You and Adam and Anna or Samira, you all have very unique, just original, endearing qualities about you and your characters. I think the secret is ultimately it's bringing yourself to the characters. And I
haven't yet. Let's not say I brought myself to the character yet.
But bringing not necessarily yourself, but your sense of humor and the delivery of lines. I mean, it's different if I'm going off and doing, medical or technobabble or the head of a CIA or something, but you're playing this.
Or when you're a dominatrix on CSI.
Yeah, how was exactly. I did to do some research for that one. But no, I've always said that even though I'm not Julie Cooper, I was able, it's closest to me in her sense of humor and delivery of lines. And when you see, honestly, we said this before in the episode with Josh, that we're all influenced by the actors around us. And when you see how much fun Adam is having and Peter's having and you're having, and the writers start picking up on that and they write for us more and more, the looser and freer we got with the characters. And And I mean,
For sure.
I do have to point out that the moment when Jimmy gets punched and it's like the absolute worst that can happen, and all Julie can do, shaking and putting her head down, oh my God, oh my God, oh my gosh, what? Like her whole world is shattered. And
In front of Newport's finest.
like her worst nightmare. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this episode was, I mean, it was a good one. There were so many fun things in it. And it was, like I said, big feelings episode.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So, should we do some quiz questions?
Quiz questions.
All right, so we're going to take turns, and then if one of you does not get it right, the other one has a chance to answer. Question 1 is for Melinda. Where did Anna move to the OC from?
Pittsburgh.
Ew.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sorry, that's what Summer says. I do
Pittsburgh.
not find
Ew.
Pittsburgh ew. I love Pittsburgh. My mom's from Philadelphia. I'm a big Pennsylvania fan.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Okay, Rachel, your
Yes.
theme song from the OC, California by Phantom Planet, was featured at the end of what movie from 2002? That's a harder one.
Rushmore? No.
That
it
is
something
incorrect.
with
Melinda?
Is it something with Jason
It's,
Schwartzman?
it's Colin Hanks, Orange County.
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
They used that in the movie Orange
reason
County, and then
that's the reason they almost didn't use it in our show.
well, yeah. I mean, how could you? They used it in Orange County, and then we used it for the OC. I mean, okay, all right.
Okay, Melinda. There is a scene in the OC where Seth refers to someone vomiting like that girl from The Sixth Sense. What's the joke within the joke here?
Misha was in The Sixth Sense vomiting when her mother was trying to poison her. But what was he joking about in the OC?
That's
Do you
it.
know?
That's the inside.
No,
joke.
you got it.
Well, but
Did you
was
get
he
these questions before? Did you get these before? How are you
Me?
know all this? Yes.
Okay, Rachel. What
Yes.
is the name of the show Ben McKenzie went on to star in from 2009 to 2013?
Years now. I mean, it's Southland was before Gotham, so I'm guessing Southland.
That's correct.
Yay! Finally. Jeez.
We got one on the board. All right, Melinda. Peter Gallagher told you in last week's episode he starred in what Broadway show, which was the closest thing to success pre the OC?
Oh, he's done over 2,000 performances on Broadway. Well, the closest thing was it the play with Mike Nichols directing, or was it Guys and Dolls Grease? No, it was the Mike Nichols play. And I'm not remembering the name.
You know it? Rachel, do you know the name?
No, but was Glenn Close in it with him? Is that anything? Maybe. No, of course I have no idea.
It was called The Real Thing.
The Real Thing.
Rachel. You know the answer to this one. On CSI, Melinda played a character named Lady Heather. What was her profession?
Dominatrix.
You got it.
I have a
Brought
funny
it up
note.
earlier. I was like, what are the odds?
I know.
I have a funny side note though, because that was such a specific character. I did that first episode of CSI not long before the OC, and a lot of people didn't realize I was the same person.
Wow.
Really?
Because they're so completely different. Think one is like me, one is not, or neither.
Melinda, what high school did Rachel go to?
Same high
That's
school as my
easy.
daughter, Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks.
That is correct. Rachel. Summer is the inspiration for what character in Atomic County, which is Seth and Zach's comic book?
That's Little Miss Vixen, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
With such confidence.
But it's Seth and Zach? They come up with it?
Remember one had the
No.
meeting with George Lucas, and one took you to the prom?
And is George Lucas actually on our show?
Yes.
Yeah. Funny, there's a lot of full circles here. We'll get into it later.
Okay.
Melinda, Julie Cooper made the appearance in the 2004 documentary 50 Most Wicked Women of Prime Time. Do you know what number she ranked?
I did that with Joan Collins. I hosted that. Well, did they make her, because I was hosting, did they make her number 2? Or 5, 6, 12?
Yeah. Rachel, you want to guess?
I was going to guess 7, but that's just a random guess.
But that's correct.
That's what came into my mind. I'm also psychic.
Rachel, what is the name of the episode in which Summer and Seth first kiss?
No. Oh, wait, we did this where they first kiss and it's Caleb's birthday party. I have to think of the name of it. It's 6. It's episode 6.
Hold on.
I have to think of the name of it.
3.
The girl who's Caleb?
Oh, the
shows up?
girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. I like how you're such a competitor, Melinda. You're like feeding her clues.
She knows that I'm clueless, so she's helping me.
All right, Melinda, what is the name of the episode that Marissa and Ryan have their first kiss in?
That's Patrick Norris's number 8. I want to say the carnival, but it's not. It's the perfect couple. Something.
Oof, no, Rachel.
Well,
Gonna
it's not
happen?
episode. Is it episode 8 or is it not? Isn't it later?
9.
9. So
Yeah,
I
it's
flipped
9.
them. Episode 9.
Episode 9. There's the carnival. There's
4, 3, 2.
and the Jeopardy theme
It is the
song.
Heights.
The Heights. Yeah, that.
I was going to say the
Yeah.
Heights, but the Heights it's all about the land real estate deal, but it's that they were at the
it's
Heights
the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
on the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
Melinda, I'm going to read this episode description from the DVD box set, and you tell me the name of the episode. Clearly, I have a thing I like.
Name of episodes are so hard. Sorry.
You'll get it. No one was supposed to see what happened, but Luke did, and so did Ryan. Now, somehow, all Newport knows that Luke's dad has been living a lie. A subsequent gossip raises questions of secrecy and trust.
The Secret.
Yes, that is correct. Rachel, what is the name of
Yes.
the school that you guys all attend in season 1?
Harbor
I
High.
have the official name.
Where we filmed it?
No, you were on the right path, but what's the actual name of the school?
Newport Harbor High School? Harbor
Melinda,
High.
do you know the...
What the heck?
Oh, it's Harbor.
Oh.
I was going to say the Harbor Pirates is the mascot.
Harbor. It's like what do you call like an
Harbor
elite school?
Academy?
There's like a name for it.
It's just the Harbor School.
Oh.
Oh man, come on.
Okay, Melinda, what is the name of Caleb's development that would destroy the wetlands? From the episode The Heights.
Oh. Okay, it's Balboa Heights.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That was impressive. I was gonna make one up.
Rachel, what drink do both Ryan and Dawn order within the first 3 episodes of the OC?
7-7.
Uh-huh.
Is that right? 7.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
7 and 7. Yeah.
It's like 7 and 7 Up or something. Is that what it is? Like
Seagram, 7 Crown, and 7 Up. Yep.
Yeah.
Melinda, which of these names did Summer not ever call Marissa? Coop, Cooper Scooper, or Coupe de jour?
Cooper Scooper. No, Coupe
That
de
is
jour.
incorrect.
That's incorrect because I believe I threw that out once. Like I was like Cooper Scooper. I don't know. That just triggered some memory. Yeah, Coupe
There
de
you
jour
go.
was the answer.
Yep. All right, Rachel. That one goes to you. Okay, Rachel, who plays Caitlin part 2? And by part 2, I mean post Shailene Woodley.
Willa Holland.
And
That's her last name, right? There's another famous Willa, and I didn't want to say the wrong last name, but she's a singer. Yes, Willa Holland.
Willa Holland, there you go. I wasn't sure if you finished the end of that word. Okay, Melinda, what camp did Seth go to?
That's hard.
yeah, it wasn't sailing camp, was it? No. It's camp.
Rachel?
No, I'm not going to remember.
Camp.
Was it Jewish camp?
I'm going to text Josh.
Probably.
Camp, camp, what? Whoa.
Watch it.
No. Camp
Camp Walla Walla.
whatchamacallit.
So close. Camp Takaho.
I almost said Camp Titicaca.
That's pretty close.
That was my first answer in my head was Camp Titicaca.
Okay, last question. This is for Rachel. Which character said this line? Do not insult Journey, all right? Referring to the band.
Do not insult Journey. Ryan.
That's correct.
Oh my God. See, some of these are just miracles. Miracles, I tell you.
The winner is Rachel.
That is a very surprising upset considering I remember nothing. I am shocked. I had an assist from Mindy on one of them though, so I mean I can't believe I won that. That's crazy.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Shall we listen to some voicemails?
I think we shall.
Did Tate Donovan really get tackled, or did they use a stunt double when he got in the fight?
I'm sure there was a stunt double. They're always they don't let you do anything as actors. They really like to protect you, right?
Absolutely. There's very few things, unless you've done training or if it's something specific like that. Yes, when it comes, they can't risk losing or sending an actor to the emergency room. So it was a stunt double.
Hey, ladies, it's Dylan from Oklahoma. Love the show. Love this episode, the debut. I was just curious what you all felt like being a part of a show that had what I think is an incredibly progressive line from Luke whenever he walks in on Ryan and Marissa dancing. And he says, I would be upset if I didn't know Chino was gay. And then there's a pause and he says, but he was born that way. So how do y'all feel about that?
Oh, wow. That's a very, very interesting question. We could go a lot of places with it.
It's interesting that being my age, growing up in, I just find that it was so interesting that young people use that as an insult, and I always think that what comes out of people's mouths is about themselves. So, we all find out that Luke has a much bigger heart and he's struggling to become a young man and finding his way. And it's just, it shows his insecurities and kind of a weakness ultimately. And just sticks and stones, although words can be very powerful for sure, as we've learned. So classic, typical teenage, dumb comment, right?
Yeah.
Did either of you ad-lib any of your scenes by yourself where you just went completely off the script?
I definitely throughout the series had my own improv things. We just talked about Cooper Scooper. I believe that was one of my add-ins, all me. I could be proven wrong because my memory, once again. But yeah, for sure. And I always find it fun, especially working with Adam Brody, who is a big improviser. It gave me room to do the same.
I definitely stuck to dialogue. I grew up, coming to set, knowing the dialogue verbatim. But I did learn to maybe button a scene with something a little extra at the end. I think what was more improv was that wasn't written in the script, or some of the expressions or the moves or some of these, the acting part. But Rachel, just since this episode was kind of about us catching up, I had this thought that what do you think you've learned, or is there any just one little thing? There's so many things that you can look back on and say what's one of your biggest lessons from then until now about life in general.
That's a tough one. I've said this like it was a lifetime ago. I was so young. And I think I thought a little too much about what other people thought for a long time. I don't know if I can say it's a lesson from the show. You know what I'll say is it was my first job, showing up every day, working long hours, everything. And I always tried to be as professional as possible And my dad, who is in the same business, always said to me, do your job and do it well. And I guess that's kind of what I always have stuck to, whether it's down to hanging up my clothes after I wrap, I'm done shooting that day for costumes to not make their life harder, making sure, I'm on time for hair and makeup. And after, some people would stay and have the makeup artist take off their makeup. And I would be like, no, go home, never make them stay. I guess that comes along with being a considerate person, which is also a tribute to my mother. But it just taught me how to be professional and do your job and do it well. What about you?
Well, I truly believe that when you're involved in something that does have so much success, and not only that, it was popular within, the demographic. It was very popular in that very important, 18 to 40 demographic, but it was also popular within the Hollywood population as well, I guess, or in the industry as well. But what's really important, I think, is to really enjoy the moment and not constantly think about what I should be doing next or thinking about the future. I know that this industry can really get your head thinking about what I should be doing, as opposed to really enjoying what's happening right now. And also, don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take life so seriously. We really do just have right now. And just be grateful. I think gratefulness is really, really powerful. And so I'm grateful to be doing this with you right here, right now.
Aw, Mindy, that was beautiful. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Please remember to follow, rate, and review Welcome to the OC Bitches wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you like to watch us, if you want to see our faces, check it out on YouTube.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you again next week.